Troy Baker, who is the voice behind the Joker, and also Roger Craig Smith, who's the voice behind Batman in Batman Arkham Origins, which was released today. So I'm going to hand over to Troy and Roger, and if you've got any questions, then please feel free.
Be gentle.
Here's the first question.
Two-part question, right? First part, where's Kevin Conroy and Mark Hamill?
Exactly where we left them, I think. In the trunk of our car.
Tied up. So the question really is, you've got big shoes to fill, right? I mean, exactly, like Kevin Conroy and Mark Hamill are synonymous with Batman. Obviously showing my Batman fanboyness now.
Sure.
But 15, 20 years of
almost
Batman, 25. Yeah, right.
91.
History. So, and you guys are coming in. Have you found any backlash to that? How do you feel about those big old shoes?
You know what's funny is we were anticipating a lot more backlash, and I would say that we're not even going to try to fill those shoes. You can't fill those shoes. Those shoes deserve to be bronzed and set aside, because what they've done is created something that has resonated so well within fandom, and they're going to be exactly where they are. What we did was we had the opportunity to show you a different version of those characters that you're so familiar with both what Kevin and Mark did in those performances. We give you a more raw, unformed version of it, and that's why the guys at Warner Brothers Games Montreal decided to use a different cast. If we were going to do impressions of those people, just get Kevin and Mark. I mean, those are the best, right? So this is something different, but it's obviously going to point to what people have responded so well to. So once I found out that that's what they were doing, he and I both were on board for that, because that's our Batman, that's our Joker. You know, we don't want to replace that at all, and no one's replacing that. We're just simply showing you a different side of it.
Our initial reactions when we got the parts was definitely one of like, yeah! Oh, now we gotta, because we knew, I mean, it's not lost on us, just the iconography of the entire Batman franchise in itself, let alone what's been established over 20 years by these two previous actors. It was like, you just fall into those shoes, you're not filling them, you're just doing a different thing. Thank goodness it was an origin story, so we could kind of visit it and tweak it just a little bit, but in no way trying to impersonate. But can't do it.
There's a question from here.
So just continuing on from that question, what is it that you bring new, and what is it that you've done different to make it your own?
That's interesting. I keep saying I don't know. I mean, other than we're visiting a different version of Batman, but I don't think there's anything that for me, that I bring to it per se, as much as we just try to pay homage to the character in the most authentic and honest way possible.
Exactly.
So we're not. But it's not as if like I'm walking in there going, all right, so here's your new Batman, and this is what it's gonna sound like. It was such a collaborative effort working with all the creatives at Warner Brothers Montreal, Amanda Wyatt, our voice director, Eric Holmes, the creative director, to say what's Eric's creative vision on this, and how do we want to kind of play with this character. But it wasn't a choice on my part alone.
The second that we start going, all right, here's what I'm going to add to this. What are you going to add to that, right? Michelangelo didn't add anything to the David, he took it away. So that's the mentality we approach this from. There's a character that's already been there. 75 years of Batman history. Okay, we're not going to bring anything new to that that's interesting. All we can do is understand who those characters are, understand where they're at in this time period, understand where they fit in our story, and be truthful with that. And so far, man, when you saw the New York Comic-Con thing, I'm sure people responded pretty well to it. So you've got two fans that are sitting in front of you, and as well as 150 people back in Montreal that are diehard Batman fans as well to make this game.
Can I briefly ask you about Last of Us?
Sure.
First of all, congratulations.
Thank you.
I thoroughly enjoyed it. Can I ask you how much fun it was both in Naughty Dog and also
Well, absolutely. I mean, Naughty Dog clearly, they were up for several awards today, and they were recognized for a few of those, and especially being a great studio. It's a great culture, and I think it's very indicative of where the culture is right now. When you've got studios like Naughty Dog or Rocksteady or Warner Brothers Games Montreal, these people that are very, very committed to making a good product. Of course, I'm naturally gravitated towards that. I want to work with those people as much as I can. And Last of Us, just like what we're talking about with Batman Arkham Origins, it's so story-driven, it's so narrative-related, and that's a great opportunity for us to hit gamers on a different level than just punch, kick, shoot, drive, but actually hit them in the gut, hit them in the heart with a very, very good story that makes the weight of that controller really, really heavy. So I'm glad that you enjoyed it. Thank you so much. Cheers.
You've touched on already how much the Batman franchise has, a huge history attached to it. And although you're coming at it from an origins point of view, does that mean there were things that maybe you would have liked to have done with the characters, but maybe you couldn't because there is this history and franchise attached to
Well,
it?
I think it's inherent that you can't. I mean, there's only so much you can do with the character before it starts to feel disingenuous. It's not the Batman that we know or the Joker that we know. I always say Batman kind of lived in this little box, and he's a very defined character in many ways, and that was the challenge for us with the origin story, is trying to say, let's do a little less refined, a less defined Batman, a little more unhinged Batman, a little more inner turmoil coming out of this guy than what we've seen in previous versions. But for what Troy did in this role as the Joker, I thought that's the heavy lifting, because that role alone, if you're going to visit it from a different perspective, you could very easily take it to a cartoony level, or nobody wants to react to these characters that we all love with what's this guy trying to do? So I know for you, I felt like, cool, I get to visit this little box and kind of live in there and rely heavily on Eric and Amanda, but the work that I got to sit and listen to with what Troy was doing was incredible.
Well, and I'll say this, I mean, clearly the Arkham franchise is one of the most successful highest rated games of all time. Okay, so it's clearly successful. So we don't want to do anything that's going to be out of canon for that. The beauty is when you do an origin story, you get to explore some of those moments that are going to point to those future moments. And there's a lot of freedom within that framework. And I really applaud the guys at Warner Bros. Games Montreal for finding those really unique opportunities that we could create in an origin story that would still completely point to, and it's a through line. There's such a through line in the narrative between those three. These are going to stack up right against each other. Anything that I could have come up with, those guys topped.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Good question.
I want you to be harder than that. Why are you not Kevin Conroy? Just say it.
Just do it. I know. Yeah.
Why are you not Mark Hamill?
First off, where's Kevin?
Great first question.
Was voice acting the main thing for you, Troy? Because Bradley Cooper had come up with Hangover and has stolen your haircut.
Sure.
Finally!
BC, that's who I call him. We talk all the time about this, and what I hate about that guy is that he's just perfect. You want him to be not a nice guy, and he just really, really is. I will tell you this. I know it's a joke question, but to be really, really honest with you, this is why I love days like today, is because we get to celebrate with some people that have made something truly, truly incredible and get to applaud as fans and as colleagues what they've accomplished. I love the gaming space, and TV and film to me is fun for entertainment, but as far as where I want to get dirty, it's within that, because I think it's the most innovative art form that we have right now. So
I'm so glad you asked that question of him, because I am sick. The whole week, it's like people who are like, my God, you look just like Brad Pitt. And I'm like, I know. I cut my own hair.
So you've never been in the same room together?
Was I? No, never. Exactly.